July 10th, Dear Diary. I don't know whether I should be ashamed or elated. I only know that last night I had the most incredible experience of my life. It sounds morbid when I put it into words, but actually it was tremendous and wonderful and amazing. The kids at Jill's were so friendly and relaxed and at ease that I immediately felt at home with them. They accepted me like I had always been part of their crowd. And everyone seemed so happy and unhurried. I loved the atmosphere. It was great, great, great. The National Center for Drug Abuse Statistics reported that in 2023, 1.86 million adolescents aged 12 to 17 reported using drugs in the last month. This statistic is evidenced in Go Ask Alice, where an anonymous narrator, given the name Alice, is a teenage girl in the throes of drug abuse. Throughout the story, she becomes increasingly more involved with dangerous behaviors attributed to a group of her peers who invited her to that fateful party. Take a look into the unsettling mind of a teenage girl slowly losing her grasp on reality. Presenting a selection from Go Ask Alice by an anonymous author. Anyway, a little while after we got there, Jill and one of the boys brought in a tray of coke, and all the kids immediately sprawled on the floor in cushions or curled together on the sofa and chairs. Jill winked at me and said, "Tonight playing button button, who's got the button? You know, a game you should play when we were kids." Bill Thompson, who was stretched out next to me, laughed. Only it's too bad that now somebody has to babysit. I looked up at him and smiled. I didn't want to appear too stupid. Everyone sipped their drink slowly, and everyone seemed to be watching everyone else. I kept my eyes on Jill, supposing anything she did, I should do. Suddenly, I began to feel something strange inside myself, like a storm. I remember that 2 or 3 records and places we had the drinks, and now everyone is beginning to look at me. The palms of my hands were sweating, and I could feel the drops of moisture on my scalp at the back of my neck. The room seemed unusually quiet, and as Jill got up to close the window shades completely, I thought, they're trying to poison me! Why? Why would they try to poison me? My whole body was tense at every muscle, and a feeling of weird apprehension swept over me, strangled me, suffocated me. When I opened my eyes, I realized it was just Bill who put his arm around my shoulder. "Lucky you," he was saying in a slow motion record on the wrong speed voice. "But don't worry, I'll babysit you. This'll be a good trip. Come on, relax. Enjoy it. Enjoy it." He caressed my face and neck tenderly and said, "Honestly, I won't let anything bad happen to you." Suddenly, he seemed to be repeating himself over and over again. I started laughing, wildly, hysterically. It struck me as the funniest, most absurd thing I had ever heard. Then I noticed the strange shifting patterns on the ceiling. Bill pulled me down as I watched the colors shift from... Wait, that's not the... Change to swirling colors, ripples of reds, blues, and yellows. I tried to share the beauty with others, but my words came out soggy, wet, dripping, or tasting of color. I pulled myself up and began walking, feeling a slight chill, which crept inside as well as outside my body. I wanted to tell Bill, but all I could do was laugh. I was losing it. It was slipping out of my grasp. This wonderful and true thing that was safe for prosperity. I felt terrible, and finally I couldn't speak at all, and I slumped on the floor, closed my eyes, and the music began to absorb me physically. I could smell it, and touch it, and hear it, as well as feel it. Never had anything been so beautiful. Immediately, I was floating to another sphere, another world, another state. Things rushed at me and away from me, taking my breath away like a drop in a fast elevator. I couldn't tell what was real and what was unreal. Was I the table, or the book, or the music, or was I part of all of them? But it didn't really matter. For whatever I was wonderful. For the first time that I can remember in my entire life, I was completely uninhibited. I was dancing for the whole group, performing, showing off, and enjoying every second of it. After what seemed eternities, I began to come down, and the party started breaking up. Sort of asked Jill what happened, and she said that 10 of the 14 bottles of Coke had LSD in them, and button, no one knew just who would wind up with them. Wow! Aren't I glad I'm one of the lucky ones? Gramps' house was dark when we got home, and Jill helped me to my room, out of my clothes, and into bed, and I drifted off into a siesta-type sleep, wrapped in a general sense of well-being, except for a slight headache. That's probably the result of long and intense laughing. It was fun. It was glorious. But I don't think I'll ever try it again. I've heard too many frightening stories about drugs. And now that I think back, I should have known what was happening. Any dum-dum should have known. But I guess I just thought the whole party was so strange and exciting that I guess I just wasn't listening. Or maybe I didn't want to listen. I'd have been scared to death if I'd known. So, I'm glad they did it to me, because now I can feel free and honest and virtuous about not having made the decision myself. And besides, the whole experience is over and past, and I'll never think of it again. July 13th, dear diary. For 2 days now, I've tried convincing myself that using LSD makes me a dope addict. And all the other low-class, unclean, despicable things I've heard about kids that use LSD and all the other drugs. But I'm so curious. I simply can't wait to try pot. Just once, I promise. I simply have to see if it's everything it's cracked up not to be. All the things I've heard about pot and LSD, all the other drugs, were obviously written by uninformed, ignorant people like my parents, who obviously don't know what they're talking about. Anyway, Jill called this morning, and she's going to her friends for the weekend, and she'll call me first thing Monday morning. I told her what a great time I had, and she seemed pleased. I'm sure if I hint around, she'll see that I get to try pot. Just once, then I'll immediately go home and forget the whole drug setup. But it's nice to be informed and know what things are really like. Thank you.